So in the beginning, we left right after rotations. We went to LAX, and that's me with all our gear. So we have to have 2 months of gear work. We went from LAX to Hong Kong, then Hong Kong to Kathmandu. In total, it takes about 24 hours to get over to Kathmandu. And if you don't know where Kathmandu is, it is right in Nepal. You see at the bottom here in Nepal, it's the capital, and it's in between India and China. So that's where we fly to. So we stay in Kathmandu for a couple of days. We stay at a very famous place called the Yak and Yeti, where a lot of climbers go. And this is just a little bit about what Nepal looks like. It's heavily overpopulated, and traffic's actually worse than LA. And this is a little bit of what Nepal looks like. Streets, there's just vendors all over the streets, and people walking and biking everywhere. The majority of people in Nepal are actually Hindu, 70%, and 20% then we're Buddhist. We did go see a lot of Buddhist temples, and this is my dad and I at one of the temples. And then for the climb, my dad and I are the only two that we're actually going to climb to the top, but we did have a group with us who just trekked into base camp. And you can do that. You can trek to base camp and then trek back out or fly out, however you want. You can take a helicopter. So that was our team, and all of our trekkers that came with us to base camp. So from Kathmandu, we have to take a fixed-wing plane to go to Lukla Airport, which is at 9,383 feet. It was rated actually by the History Channel to be the most dangerous airport in the world. So that was our first challenge. We have to get to this airport, and you'll see why. It is only 1,700 feet long, and it's at 11% elevation grade. So you can see, if you can look, you can see how the plane literally goes out, and then that's the end of the runway. So that was our first challenge, but we made it to Lukla Airport. And then from there, we start trekking in. So we're going to trek to base camp. In total, we took 10 days. You can take basically as long as you want or as short as you want, and you stay in lodges along the way. It's super beautiful, very comfortable weather, just like a dirt trail kind of you see here in Los Angeles. This is trekking. So continuing with the trek, we crossed a lot of suspension bridges. Yaks or porters would help carry the gear since we weren't going to carry the duffel bag. So yaks would do a lot of the work. Everywhere you'd see star flags, which are just flags that symbolize different things like health and success and wealth and romance. And they get those blessed by the monks, and they put those up everywhere. This is one of the little villages that you walk through, and this is kind of what the lodges look like. You got a little bed, maybe a bathroom in the bedroom, and you eat and drink, and they have dinner there for you every night. So it's really comfortable, and it's actually a really nice trip just to trek into base camp. And there was actually French bakeries at every little stop, so I ate a lot of donuts and had a lot of cappuccino. It wasn't that bad. So then also in the trek in, we got blessed. We actually did this twice by a monk, and we got blessings here, and then you have to carry, he gives you 2 things you have to wear on you just for safety. This is a picture of one of the memorial sites. This is what Dr. Lehiner was actually talking about when they set up a memorial site for someone. That was probably one of the most emotional parts because there's just rows of these and they have placards. Usually from the family kind of puts a little bit something about them on it. So that's what the memorial site looks like. A little bit more of the trek in. And here we are at a location called Everest View. The guy in the middle is our guide, and then that's my dad on the right, and that's me, and Everest is way in the back. So we're not there yet. We got a ways to go. days we make it to base camp, which is 17,500 feet. And I don't know if you guys have been at that elevation, but sleeping there was more of a challenge. I've slept there once before on another mountain, but that was probably the hardest part, is just adjusting to the altitude. Base camp is a miniature city. It has probably around 500 people in base camp with all the climbers and the Sherpas and cooks and everything. From the beginning to the end of base camp, it would take me 30 minutes to walk, just the distance. So that's kind of like looking down at base camp. In base camp, we had pretty luxurious. Actually, we had this dome tent. In the dome tent, we had full charging station, TV, carpets, table and chairs, box of wine. Had a chef who cooked 3 meals a day for us, turkey, and we ate everything from vegetable tempura to buffalo wings. I asked for pizza, and he made us cupcakes for dessert, and so just a really great experience having him. So a little bit more about base camp. Before we're allowed to actually start our climb, we spent 10 days in base camp just prioritizing before we started climbing. And we have to, based on their religious beliefs, have what's called a puja, and it's just a ceremony, kind of doing offerings to the gods and asking for passage through mountains. So it's a 3-hour-long ceremony of months, and we did really fun stuff like you put flour in each other and you drink whiskey, and then you throw rice and you chant. But it actually makes a huge difference if you don't have a good puja. Sherpas will not allow you to climb. So we had a really stunning puja. And inside the tent, that's my best friend, Mr. Heater. Temperatures were kind of drastic throughout the day. At night, they'd usually be around 10 to 15 degrees. And then when the sun came out, I recorded like 80 and 90 degrees. So the fluctuation was really hard, and I would just sit by Mr. Heater all night. And we watched TV. I think you guys heard that on the blog. We pretty much marathoned 30 Rock every night. So it was nice to have TV and relax. So now that we're ready to start climbing, I'm going to show you guys a quick video of rotations. So, because it's a little confusing to understand what we do and how we move up the mountain. So there's no sound, but you see we're at base camp, and we move up. So we're going to go through the Icefall. Oh, that's just like a practice day, I guess he did. So you'll see us, we go to Camp 1, we'll spend a night or two, maybe come down, or we'll go to Camp 1, spend a night or two, then go to Camp 2, and then we keep doing these rotations where you go up, you come back down to base camp, you'll move up again, come back down, and we do that 3 times. So we did 3 rotations total. And then we start climbing up higher. You just keep going once you do the summit push.
Why do you do that?
So for acclimatization, it's kind of a rule of thumb. You say climb high, sleep low. So spending the night, like at Camp 2, is at 21,500 feet. We would spend about 5 nights there, and that alone, you're just deteriorating already, and you're getting really weak. But you need to get used to altitude because you can't just climb to 29,000 without getting sick. So that's kind of a problem. That's why a lot of people do get sick. There are some people who skip rotations, and I know a lot of people who got HAPE, high altitude pulmonary edema. That's the biggest risk for not acclimatizing appropriately. So that's why we do it, just so your body, or else you get up to, summit and you're just not going to have, your body's not prepared. So that's why we do that.
And how long from base camp does it take to get to summit? Like, I mean,
how many days
if you let's say you did all your rotations or whatever, and you were going from base camp all the way up to summit.
So for summit push,
yeah,
7 days.
So you leave from base camp and go all the way up.
So we would go. Here, I can show you on the map again. So here's the map. So when we do the summit push, and I think I saw it on the blog, like we're going through summit this week. So that meant we would go from base camp, we skip camp 1. Oh, is that the next video on YouTube? We go straight to camp 2, skip camp 1 totally, spend 2 nights, camp 2 to camp 3, spend 1 night, camp 3 to camp 4, which is South Pole, camp 4. We spent 2 nights, which is not normal, but we had bad weather. Went from South Pole up to the summit, came back down to the camp 4, and then come all the way up.
How long does it take for you to go back up and then down, up and down, up and down?
So in total, we took, so the total trip was 7 weeks on the mountain. Take out 20 days. Because that was the time we were hiking to base camp and staying at base camp, so. 4 weeks. 4.5, 4 weeks, pretty much 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Let's just start on.
Vanessa,
Okay, let me go back, sorry. Yeah.
What? Oh, when you say it's difficult to sleep, was it like dizziness or just lack of air or what?
So it's a partial pressure of oxygen that's different at high altitude. And so I'll let you know, like I would record oxygen saturation. The lowest oxygen that I got was 78%. Oh. So you're just not, I got, you get altitude sickness, acute mountain sickness. So I suffered from headaches, nausea, you don't sleep very well, you don't eat, you lose appetite, so you're not eating very much and your body's burning a lot of energy when you're up there.
yeah, did you take pills?
Well, this trip was the first time I started trying Diamox, and it would help, so it totally depends, there's 3 different forms. And I was going to go through the drugs with you guys, but I didn't want to take your whole lunch. And so there's the 125, 250, or the 500 extended release. I tried doing the extended release, which is twice a day pill, but the side effects were terrible for me. I had a lot of nerve pain and numbness and tingling in the extremities, so I decided to do the lower doses, but then it only lasts for a couple hours. So I go to sleep, 8 o'clock at night and wake up at midnight feeling the altitude. So hopefully, I did take it on this trip, yeah. So going through the rotations, as you saw, the first thing from base camp up to camp 1 is the Kundu Icefall. And this is pretty infamous just because it's extremely dangerous. And this is 2 years ago where unfortunately a lot of Sherpas passed away. But the first time, so if you look at it, you're kind of like, this is a picture from base camp. You're like, not terrible, it's like not too bad. But then this is a picture taken from a day hike I did. Here's base camp. And here's the Icefall. So it's over 2,000 feet tall. And the only problem is why it's so dangerous is the ice is literally like the size of houses that you're going through, and they shift all the time. So we had to move at night. We would only climb in the dark. Going up it, and we saw I know some of you guys saw the ladders. We have to cross ladders. We did vertical ladders and we did horizontal ladders to get you through that. So the first time we did it, it took just over 6 hours, which is good, but we always have to be faster because it's very dangerous. So the next 2 times we did it in 4.5.
What happened to the Sherpas the prior time?
So what happens with the ice is it's unpredictable, it's unstable, so it collapsed, and it killed a lot of people in the collapse.
Why at night?
Because the ice is more stable and it's not shifting, kind of like when you go snow, when if you're going to go out on the slopes or something, midday, if the sun's hitting on it, you're going to get slushy and just kind of gross, so that's what happens, the ice will really start to melt. So I have a really quick video. We're moving at night. Save this works. This is just what it looks like for me to go up the ladders in the middle of the night.
So you can only see one rung at a time, like you can't even see.
Just because, well, yeah, I have my headlight on one spot. But, so that's kind of what it's like. You're just moving along.
Do you ever feel them shift?
Yes. The time we went for the summit push, there was actually avalanche after avalanche going on. We almost turned around because I heard about 5 avalanches, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and you don't know where they're coming from. So you're kind of like stopping and listening and waiting, trying to figure out like where is it and what do I need to do. So we almost turned around actually because we were getting, my guide just didn't feel comfortable. But other than that, and then sometimes they set a trail, so they're called the Icefall doctors. They set a fixed line, so from base camp to the summit, it's a fixed line, which means it's a rope. They do about 70 meters of rope that's anchored into the ground. You're always clipping into the fixed line. And so we would come and the route would actually be changed because the ropes would be damaged from the fall. But this is just a picture I just showed you guys, just kind of a review of what it looks like on the mountain. So then we get to Camp 1. We actually only spend 2 nights there in total. It's at 20,000 feet. Just a flat little area, just to help acclimatize. We stayed in the tents there. They cooked inside the tents. We brought the iPad up and watched some more 30 Rock inside the tent. And then going from Camp 1 to Camp 2, kind of the same thing where we just have walls. Fixed line, going up the walls and going back down, going through the crevasses. When we get to Camp 2, which is at 20,500 feet, in total we spent 12 nights there throughout the trip. We did have a little dome tent there, and we did have a cook there actually the entire trip. We stayed there and cooked our meals. So this is when you're actually starting to get a little closer to the mountain. You're actually on like the side face. You can look up and see Everest. So right down there. Fun fact, I had a lot of medical problems on the mountain. Didn't expect them. I got giardia as one. And I got impetigo twice. So I don't know if you guys can see it. It was on my face. I was lucky enough at base camp there's doctors, so they're able to fly me. I was able to order medication from them. They got flown in for me. At least I knew what it was. And then when we're at Camp 2, we just do day hikes, getting ready to go up and move the mountain. So that's my dad and I on a day hike. So and then from Camp 2 to Camp 3, we start doing actually the very technical climbing and going up what's called Lotsi's Face. Lotsi's a mountain right next to Everest, and we go up the sheer face of it. And so this is just a little, I'll just show you a little bit of the video of us. This is me moving up the face. So, straight up, right? Straight. So this face, it's about a 50-degree pitch, but it gets up to an 80-degree pitch, and it's 3,690 feet. I looked up. So of course, it's split between from Camp 2 to Camp 3, spend the night, Camp 3 to Camp 4. So fixed lines the whole way, and I didn't put in the video, but here is like there's I don't think I put in the video. Technical areas, Yellow Band Geneva Spur, which are kind of famous. If you guys ever like see the movie or read the books, you'll see those famous rock band areas. That's what it looks like, just to be moving at a slow pace. So then we get to Camp 3. Camp 3 is at 23,500 feet. We actually only spend 1 night there, so this is what it looks like going up the face. It's Camp 3. Camp 3 is on the Lipsy face, so it's kind of hard to see because it's a GoPro video, but we're still having to be fixed line in because we're at about 40 to 50 degree pitch, and you put your tents put in, you basically cut out a little section, put your tent in on the face. And that's where we start using oxygen actually. So from there on out, you wear oxygen all the time, sleep with it, hike with it. You just take it off if you're gonna eat or if you wanna hang out. But we would stay on, at least at night, like 1 to 2 liters per minute. And then from Camp 3, you have to make it up to Camp 4, which is also called South Pole. It's at 26,300 feet. This is what it looks like to be moving up to Camp 4. Again, it's kind of pretty vertical. Pretty vertical the whole way. That was the hardest day of my entire life. But I did think of you guys a lot, and I don't think I put a photo in. When I was reading through your all's card, like every day, of course, a lot of people said, like, you can do it. And so I put that on my glove. I think you can do it. That's my dad, hanging out with oxygen on the little ledges.
Do you guys have to carry everything? Like, are you carrying your oxygen on you?
You have to carry your oxygen, but you only carry the tank you're using. So I only have to carry one at a time. So for the trip, I had 6 oxygen tanks designated for me. I don't have to carry those other ones. They're already stowed and stashed by the Sherpas. So all my oxygen's already at Camp 4 waiting for me. And I don't have to carry it. Which is enough, because it's like 25 pounds, and that was enough. You get very weak. This is what South Pole looks like. Just a rocky area right below, getting ready to go up to the summit day. And this is what it looks like looking out from my tent. Camp 4. And there's all our oxygen hanging out. So we spent 2 nights here, which is not really normal. You usually just spend 1 night, but from Camp 3 to Camp 4, it took us 7 hours. And then we were supposed to leave for the summit in 4 hours from that. I was not feeling it for 1, and for 2, the weather turned on us. So really, really was grateful to actually have the option to have enough oxygen up there to say, let's go try it tomorrow night. After that, you don't bring enough oxygen or food up there to stay more than 2 nights. So it's kind of a one-shot deal. That's why people say weather's a big issue on the mountain. It's gonna make it or not. But we just have then. So then the next day we went for the summit push. And this is kind of what it looks like. Those rocks down there at the right, that's what's called the South Pole. So there's a couple main areas. You guys probably read about the balcony. That's where a couple people were found this year. The balcony, and then it goes South Pole, or South Summit. Balcony, South Summit, Hillary Step, and then the Summit Ridge. And I'll show you a little bit more what those areas are. So this is looking down. I was in front of my dad. It took us, so we left at 8:30 p.m. at night. We're going to climb through the night again. And I got up to this top at 5:41 a.m. So this is what looks coming around. And this picture will kind of show you some of the features. This is, we're kind of on the south summit. This is Hillary Step, the famous Hillary Step, which was covered with snow this year, which is very easy for us. Then you have the Summit Ridge, and then the summit up there. Here. And then I got a little video for you guys to see what it looks like to be up there. Oh, that's my dad. That's actually happened. Someone's base jumped off of it, yeah.
Like squirrel suit?
Years ago.
Base jumped in?
Base jumped it.
Did they survive?
That's
I'm sorry, they used a shooter or like a squirrel suit?
Did they die or did they base jump it? But I don't know, I gotta check, but yeah. So and then, so we made it up, so I made it to the summit, 29,000, give or take 29 feet or 30 feet, that's, oops, oh, they did like that. So that's me on the left, on the summit, and that's my dad and I spent 30 minutes up there. I looked at my camera timestamp, 30 minutes, which was plenty. It was actually extremely cold. So that's all we spent, and then we came back down. And then I wanted to share just a quick, Dr. Henry mentioned this was actually the 7 summits for us. So I climbed 6 of them, with my dad and my brother. My dad didn't come, or my brother didn't come to Everest, but hopefully he will do it one day. And then it's just all the mountains from the 7 summits that we did, and I'm lucky number 387 right now of all the people in the world who have done it. Just wanted to say thank you, and like I said, your cards meant a lot to me. They're my tent, and there's the card, and I really appreciate your all's support and love.
Was it faster going down than going up?
Of course. Going down, you just have to do summit. You stay at Camp 4 for one night, and then you go from Camp 4 all the way back down to Camp 2. And we actually got even a speedier way out because some of you guys heard my dad got helicoptered out because he got frostbite. So we got out of there in 2 days. We were back in Kathmandu. Yeah. So he got it on his 4 fingers on the right, 1 on the left, and then his 5 toes on the right.
How did he get it? Like, what was his predisposing?
Summit day, he got it on Summit day.
Just
We're
happened.
not 100% sure. I mean, I'm a little more for preventive measures, and I do all I can to prevent injury. Or he's kind of one of those men. Just keep going. Yeah. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
How did you shower? How did you shower?
Okay, I didn't include a picture of our shower. At base camp, we had everything in a tent, which you guys are super fortunate that you have 4 walls, and I got it again. Everything, you sleep in a tent, you shower in a tent, you go pee in a tent, you eat in a tent, and they had a separate shower. I might have a picture in the thing, but it's just a little tent, 4 walls. It's got, actually on the inside, there's an electric, there's like a little shower head, and it goes to a pump. And it's an electric pump, you just put in a bucket of water.
Is it hot? Is it warm?
Well, yeah, because the cooks would boil water for me, yeah.
Oh, just you.
And I take one about, I shower about once a week. It's good.
Seems about right. I was
Actually, or once a day. But then it's so cold around you, right? No, because you have to only take showers when the sun's out, or else it's going to be too cold. So I would have to do it on a sunny day at base camp. Yeah.
You say you wash your hair once?
I wash my hair once.
In 7 weeks?
It looks super. It's amazing.
Oh, literally.
It's because you don't have dreadlocks.
Brother does my hair. Yeah, any other questions you want to know about? Where we go? What?
Can I ask this question?
Yeah.
Do you see any, like the green blue sky? Like there's like
Green Boots guy is actually in a cave. I didn't know where he was until I passed and he came down and I missed him. But I wouldn't have gone anyway because it's too dangerous. So at the South Summit where you saw those rocks in the, I don't know.
What's Green Boots guy?
He's just an infamous guy who's been up there since like the 80s.
he lives there?
No,
Oh,
he's dead.
He's there.
You can't live up there. So our summit, you can't get everyone down, unfortunately. Sometimes it's not easy to actually get the bodies down. So they left him. This is what's called South Summit where these rocks are. And there's actually a person right here. There's fixed line here, so I hook into the fixed line. I'm a scaredy cat. I will not go off fixed line. I will not unhook. He is in the cave right here. So you have to get off. And I wasn't. Yeah, they put him in there. Yeah, his favorite coral is there. Yeah, like his
Okay, I have 3 questions.
Oh my god.
One is, Oh, what was the first thing you ate when you got back?
Unfortunately, the very first thing was my dad was rushed to the hospital, so I had hospital food. Which is, not always great food. Then, when I got to the hotel, so I stayed at, I upgraded to the Hyatt. And I went and had their buffet dinner. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and then second, did anyone from your group not make it to the summit with you?
It was just my dad and I.
Oh.
We're the only two that was actually in our group.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then, did you have, like, at any point, what was your lowest? Like, where you're like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this. Did you ever have one of those?
Like every single day.
Really?
That's one of the reasons why I had to write stuff on my glove and everything. Just always. The absolute lowest day I thought was moving from Camp 3 to Camp 4, which was because it was that 7 hours of that vertical climbing. It was just mentally and physically the most taxing thing ever. So I just pretty much cried my way the whole time. Kept going. And I made it.
Can you talk about did you get a chance to interact with all the multicultural groups that were there from all around the world?
I was a little bummed. I thought it was going to be like a social place at base camp. I thought we were all going to like hang out and play cards, but people really kind of stick to themselves. So not a whole lot of people would come hang out with us. Pretty lonely with just me and my dad. That's what it was. Yeah, so we had a little bit of interaction, but just not yet. Yeah.
Could you, when you had the pilot mask things on, could you talk to each other? And then also, did you get bored ever?
Yeah, so with the oxygen mask on, do we talk? Yeah, we could talk to each other. It's not really easy to hear each other, so either I'm screaming at you or I'll take it off to scream at you. It's gotta be something I'm yelling at my dad about, right? So yeah, you just talk with them on. It wasn't real easy, but you could take it off if you really needed to for a minute.
Would you do it again?
Would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again. I will do it again. I said if my brother decides he wants to do it and complete the 7 summits, or I do it again if I marry someone who wants to do it.
Yeah.
I plan to go to base camp. I'd like to work at base camp. Well, Tyler, I didn't answer your question.
Oh, did you ever just get bored?
Bored.
It sounds like it's boring.
So we're at base camp, hanging out in base camp in between the rotations. So we first got to base camp, it was 10 days. In between the first rotation, it was 8 days. In between the second rotation, it was 9 days. So it's Groundhog Day every day. You wake up, you eat breakfast, you might do something like a little laundry, and then you go take a nap, and then you read, and then you go eat again, and then you go nap again, and then you eat again for dinner, and then you watch TV, and then you go to bed. So it was the same thing day in and day out. But, it was boring, but at least it was this is an interesting place to be. Back, I can't see you. Hi.
So I know you guys had a little bit of internet access to send updates through the trip. Were you ever able to see the comments that people wrote on the website?
No, so the internet was my guide. He paid for satellite Wi-Fi, and the price of that I wasn't willing to pay into. So he would post stuff for the website, but I couldn't see anything. I wish I could see your all's comments.
How did you prepare for this? Yeah. Do you just climb a mountain and send people mountains?
Well, preparing was definitely doing the other mountains in advance. Of course, because we've done so many. And even for those mountains, we would train, we'd go, like, over the summer, we went to Ecuador to go climb. I went to Colorado during a weekend, like on rotation, actually. I went to Colorado to go do ice climbing. I'd go down every weekend to San Diego to go train with my dad. So, and then just during the week, during rotations, I just trained at the gym.
What's the easiest out of all the 7 books?
The easiest, Kosciuszko in Australia. Even my mom came. It's like 2 hours. Okay, because Australia's flat, so it's short.
What was harder between this or even K2, and like where did you gain your technical skills?
For K2?
Yeah.
K2's immensely harder. I don't plan on doing K2 unless they change kind of the mountain. Right now, the survival rate's still at 50% for K2. K2, it's one of the highest in the Himalayas, 8,000 feet. So, I mean, I don't know exactly their technical, I don't know their route on K2, so I don't know how technical it is, but they have a lot more dangers. Avalanche danger is huge there. So. Yeah, Emma.
Hi. Did you listen to music at all? Like, do you have a Everest playlist or something?
Kind of. I did not prepare in that area. I'm sad. I did have an iPod because I don't know if you guys know, I'm kind of like a spiritual person, so I do a lot of meditation. So I filled an iPod up with meditation music. And that was a little hard to get me motivated. Or I just want to it's all just very it's mellow and then climbing to this very mellow stuff. So I kind of fell short in that area. I wish I got I was like, why did I feel like a country? Yeah.
What is your resting heart rate now?
I got it done yesterday. I'm a little disappointed. I'm at 63.
What was it better? You left though.
I don't know. I wish I would have done the VO2 max with, I wish I would have done testing, but I didn't do it. I'm not, everyone told me you're like superhuman when you come back. You're not. You're basically like, someone who's been in a hospital bed for a couple months. You just don't, you don't use your muscles basically. So I was not strong when I came back at all.
Did you get like a full workout when you came back down to like normal elevation?
I did have, okay, you don't do this normally, but because like my dad got helicoptered off and stuff, and we have to do this insurance thing, I did get a miniature physical. I had blood work done, and that's pretty much all I got done. Which was pretty good. My blood cells were a little high, that's it. Yeah.
I'm just curious, like when you were describing, when we saw the video of you in the dark and you said you could hear the avalanches, you said, oh, you just don't know where they're coming from, you don't know what to do, but you're pretty much just waiting there to see if it hits you, right? Or is there any way you can prepare?
Yeah. So, and it might just show it in the photo. So we kind of know a general idea of where they're coming from. Let me just show you. So you're going through the Icefall. So when we're coming up through, yeah, you don't know. I mean, you get really used to it. That was probably why I have so much stress and trauma now is day and night you hear avalanche falls all over. And you get really used to kind of gauging like how far are they or which direction are they coming from. So that's like when we go up, we'd stop, we'd wait for a second to hear where they're coming from. Most of the time they come off the west shoulder. So we would just know that based on where our route was placed at here, you know, like we're pretty good here, we're just gonna kind of, but yeah, in the middle of the night, it was very terrifying. Because you're just kind of like, well, if it hits me, I don't know, you know. And there are things you can do. It's called like self-rescue. You get in a certain position on the ground. But yeah, and then we wear beacons in case they need to find us. But
Good job.